kind of the reason we made these films, is to get to this place, and so finally people get to see the resolution of the story, so I'm very excited. I'm very lucky to be close with Courtney Solomon, one of my best friends in the whole world, and also a fantastic producer. I feel very lucky to have been taken under his wing and taught how to make a film by one of the greatest. That's essentially why we did these films in the first place, is to tell one giant story, and then it was inevitably broken up into chapters. So I'm really excited for people to see it the way that we made it to be seen, essentially. You really get to see Maya's arc and the development of the character over the course of the 3 films in real time, becoming the person who is fighting for, revenge, resilience, resolution. Filmmaking is meant to be divisive, so I can't please everybody with the choices that I make in film, but I'm very proud of the way it ended. I'm excited for people to see the ending. I'm ready to walk away from Maya's journey after 4 years with her, but I'm really proud of what we created, and I feel very lucky that I was given so much creative freedom within this character to play with the studio, with Courtney and Renny. Well, I truly believe every film is meant to be seen in theaters, so they should always go to the theater, but for this film in particular, I can speak on the editing process that we put into it and the sound mixing. We spent so much time making sure every single frame was paired perfectly with sound to each individual speaker in the theater. It is meant to be seen with an audiences. Horror films are meant to be seen with audiences. They're so much more fun when they're seen like that. And I think just the environment in general, this particular film is so epic and so big, but it's so silent, that having it on a big screen, you're going to feel so much more immersed in the world than if you watch it on your screen at home.
Relief and relief. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. Happy to release Chapter 3, so finally everybody understands what we were doing. They get all the answers, and it's the darkest of the 3 chapters, so I'm excited for that to happen. And it actually ends, so nobody will be upset, and ends well, I feel. And as far as the whole thing is concerned, it's been an odyssey. It's been, I think, a total of 3 years. So happy that it's done and we got it complete, and proud of it and happy, and then happy to move on and do something else as well. One of the things of doing this whole thing was it was an experiment of sorts. So the experiment was Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and a whole bunch of time in between. When we were doing press on the original one, we were like, this is one movie. It's divided into 3 parts. And by doing that, and to give it enough runtime, for example, in each part, there were things we added in those movies that maybe we, even as filmmakers, wouldn't have necessarily put in the movies. But the biggest thing is I think there's a disconnect with people when you have a year plus between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. This one, thankfully, is the way we originally intended it. It's literally 4 months after the last one was released, so it's still fairly fresh. But in general, audiences are used to watching a movie, seeing the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then judging that movie. What happened was is you saw a chapter and it said to be continued. You saw a chapter and it said to be continued, and now the last chapter is coming. So as much as it's going to answer a bunch of questions, nothing's as good, I don't think, as watching this trilogy cut that we put together that those folks upstairs are watching, where they can see the amazing arc that Madelaine did as Maya, going from where she starts to where she ends and what happens to her along the way without interruption. So I think it's a huge difference in how it goes down. And I think that was a huge factor in how it didn't go down right for a lot of people, because they can't piece it together without it just being what people are used to, which I kind of understand. I mean, from the day we met, she was just, how we envisioned Maya sort of physically the first second we saw her. But aside from that, it was just her understanding, her love of the original Strangers, the 21 pages of questions she had already written before we started the interview. And it was a gut feeling that this person was going to go on this odyssey with us, because it was going to be a long road. And, we needed somebody that was really going to stick with it. If you take frame 1 of the beginning of the trilogy, we'll call it, and the last frame where you see Maya, these are 2 entirely, it's the same person, but one looks like they are entirely shattered of all humanity by the end of it. And so we needed somebody really exceptional to go through that, and she was totally the right choice. That's one of those decisions in life, if I had to make it 25 times over again, I would do the exact same thing. Well, number one, you got to see how it ends. lover or hater. You got to see how it ends. As far as the lovers are concerned, and there's a ton of fans that have been completely on the journey, they're talking about the smaller characters. Who is it? Like, what's going to happen with Maya? They're intrigued by this concept of, wait a second, she's wearing the mask now, so we've gone somewhere entirely different. I think they're going to be so satisfied with how it ends and just like, elated and have a great time with it. So they have to go see it. I mean, they just absolutely have to go see it. So, that's it. I mean, but it is a fun chapter. And I just want to say one last thing, because it's been misunderstood. Our Strangers universe of this trilogy, because I've read so much stuff that's incorrect, is not the original Strangers or Prey at Night. They live in one place. We made something different and used the storyline of the original to start our universe. So we've never given up who the original Strangers were. We haven't given any backstory on the original Strangers. That's not what we did. We gave essential backstory on ours in context to our stories, but it's a Stranger's story. It's a different universe. Same characters with the masks as far as wearing the masks and what they do, but completely different storyline and completely different timeline and universe entirely from the previous two. That's 1 and 2, and then you've got the trilogy. It's there on its own. It's been so misunderstood that way, and that is what it is, and we should talk about that. Oh yeah. I mean, that was always our intent. Like, okay, well, fine. Now you get to watch it as the whole thing. And by the way, in the trilogy cut, I was mentioning there were a lot of things we added to sort of, get to your 90 minutes in each chapter. So in movie 1 and 2, these have been re-edited. There's a whole bunch of pieces that we as filmmakers wouldn't even have put in, or maybe not in the place that they were re-edited. And then chapter 3, as part of it, also partially re-edited.